That doesn't sound loud at all. Maybe it's just because my headphones are down. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of The Stone Genius. My name's Ro. I'm the Stone Genius. You know me. I'm often stoned. I'm always a genius.
Trademarked.
That's it? Ugh, I really got to do a better job at learning my my intro. Because now that I've pre-recorded it, I don't think I have a good judge on that. So welcome to the podcast. This show was meant to be made a few days ago. It was not. It was still going to be released on the same day anyway, so that would not have mattered. But the lead headline, the topic, green topic, if you're lucky enough to come into my notebooks, the books that I put notes in, the green notes, they're not in this show. I'm starting with green. So I highlight in different colors. I'm trying to make something coherent. I know on your end, you're like, hold on. I get it. I'm trying. So green. So the original title of this show was going to be sex injury because I encountered a sex injury. I should have another sound for that too. Oh, I do. Okay, so I had a sex injury with Bobby. I don't have sex with myself anymore. Me and Bobby, it doesn't matter. Anywho, anyhow, anyway, sex injury with Bobby. So I was going to do a show about that, about the injury. And then we go, so Bobby's a little gun shy for a few days. And I mean, who wouldn't be it's not the first time. I mean, I dislocated my thumb, tore a ligament in there and had to have surgery for it. And I think I threw myself off of Bobby, which is different than when I usually throw myself onto Bobby. And I looked at my thumb and said, that ain't right. I believe that's an exact, those were exact words. I'm going to see if I have audio from that night.
That ain't right.
No, that's obviously not me. That sounds like some sort of rabid Wolverine. Anywho, anyhow, anyway, so I have had sex injuries before. I had a neck injury. That was so it's not uncommon for me to have a sex injury. And when people are like, well, I've never had a sex injury before. Well, here a couple things. First of all, you probably don't have as much sex as we do. I'm just going off averages. I'm going to say that we have more sex than you do. And if you are having more sex than us, then I'm going to let it get creepy. Yeah, give me some. So there's more opportunity for me. And some people are like, I've never had a sex injury. And then my question is, are you doing it right? I mean, now, I will say this. So here's some of my notes. I need to follow my notes. So the sex injury, the very first note was sex injury, and I put need for a swing. So that's what I was going to talk about. Once again, I think sex swings are not about sex toys. They're about people getting older. Like, literally, Bobby and I were watching the final Magic Mike movie. And I said, would you like me to dance for you like that? And she's like, yes. And then there's a point where, like, he picks her up, and we look at each other, and we just laugh. We know that's not going to happen. I mean, there was a time when Bobby would have been able to pick me up, but even I think that time has passed. So no one is picking anyone up. However, if there was a sex swing, we already have the hook hanging from the ceiling for a TRX band. I mean, if they can support me working out, they can support us working out. Hold on. I don't even know what button to work with that. Nah, that's probably not right. That one, maybe. Maybe. Anywho, anyhow, anyway. So that was the note. It originally started. This episode was sex injury, then sex swing. Um. So I injured myself again. So then Bobby's a little gun shy. So that's where we were. So I threw myself off. This time, I was just on top, and I felt I can't recall if there was an audible pop, but I just felt something in my wrist. And so I dismounted, if you would. And as I rolled off of Bobby, not so gingerly either. It was more of so it was my right wrist and I went to my right. So I more like collapsed out of Bobby is what I did. I think I was out by the time I was mentioning I may have hurt myself. Again, I mean, you would think Bobby would only need to hear that once. I injured myself while we were having sex, but here it is multiple times in. So this is still the first time. Remember, I've been injured twice this week. That's what I'm getting to. So I didn't even have a chance to get a show out, talking about the first sex injury, when I had a second sex injury. I mean, if Bobby ever has sex with me again, where I am not completely bubble wrapped, okay, maybe not completely bubble wrapped, then I would be surprised. Honestly, I would. So I am calling the second injury this week to a sex injury, even though it was more of a dismount injury. I mean, so the other ones were during the act. The act was not completed for one or both of us during the time of injury. When injury timeout was called, at least one of us had not completed, finished, climaxed, however you want to say it. So this one, I think we were both out of breath. Noises were made that maybe have never been heard on this planet before. So there were some things going on, but I won't discuss all that. I'll just say that when I was dismounting, that's when I injured myself the second time. So anyway, and then I don't know. So I mentioned sex swing, and I don't know because if I'm dismounting, disengaging, would you from a sex swing? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you're attached in. I don't know if it can support both our weights. I feel like I should have looked. I've given this a lot of thought. And as much thought as I've given it, I probably should have done more research. I mean, at some points, I'm just wondering whether I couldn't take some like belts I had, hook them up to the TRX, like put like a lawn chair in there and maybe like cut some holes or something. Or no, I mean, a lot of lawn chairs, they have those like plastic band and you can just separate them. So that would work. And then 2 belts, 3 belts tops. And I now have 3 belts, and they're the ratchet belts. So I would be able to do this, and I would be able to adjust height, add or subtract height as needed or wanted by one or both of us. But I think that I could do that in some sort of lawn chair, or maybe even like an old, I was going to say an old office chair, but I don't know if that would work. Anyway, I don't know whether I would have been injured disengaging from that. Hold on. I'm going to let you hear this. Oh, that's not even loud. That is, the splint that my wrist is in because of my sex injury. Here's another thing. So we're talking sex injury. How much more do I have to talk about? Here's the note that, so this was missionary if I didn't say that, and which is amazing. As much as we're doing, maybe we're just doing missionary bad, or maybe this is God saying, don't do missionary. I would rather that be the one that you, like, don't do that one. Every time you do that, you will be injured. That it like some people had locusts, some people got swallowed by whales. I am going to be injured every time we do the missionary position. I mean, I don't think there's a lot of theories about what's going on with me and my sex injuries right now. I mean, you guys can, I would appreciate the input. Oh, shit. See, this will lead me somewhere. This will lead me to orange, but I'm not done with green. See all these highlights. I'm going to try to remember to come back to the website, which isn't up yet. But I have a website now. Hold on. That's all that deserves because it's not up yet, and I've had it for... Anyhow, anyway. So the sex wing. So here's the deal. It was regular missionary also. And it was like, what are the chances? Because there's so many other positions. But now that I think about it, it probably is God saying no. I mean, if anything, so every once in a while, we'll go do like missionary to wheelbarrow. And when we do that, we'll do it like with NASCAR, pit crew type speed, and maybe not so much accuracy. When that happens, but it's fun. We enjoy that. Let's see other green notes. Once again, luck of the Irish. So yes, I got injured having sex, but the 2 pluses here is I was having sex. I mean, I don't want to get injured prior to sex and then not be able to have sex. I would rather be, and we were well into it. So I believe that Bobby and myself, probably both of us equally, would have preferred that it ended not sooner nor later. The time frame was appropriate, but maybe in a different ending. A happy ending, it was not. Hey-o. But it could have been worse. Luck of the Irish is when, so the way it was explained to me is you'll be walking through a field, you'll 100% step in a cow patty, you just won't be wearing your best shoes. I just meant to say things could always be worse. That being said, same way with this. So injured thumb, injured wrist, both of those are bad. One of them's already required surgery. Injured neck, that could have been more serious. Now that was my fault for not being aware of my surroundings, but that was Bobby's fault because of what she had just done to me. Once again, all I'm going to say, you guys are pervs. I know you guys want more details, but no, I'm not going to give them. I probably will later in the show, just not right now. Anyway, it could have been worse. I could have broken my dick. And I will tell, as much as Bobby makes my member wiggle through it, I don't think that I would need I don't want to cast. I don't want to break my dick. Doesn't sound fun. I didn't think that was a real thing. I think it is a real thing. So I don't want to be one of those deniers, like flat earthers. The world's not round. So yes, so you can break your dick. Does not sound, I'm surprised. It has not happened to me. But it does that. Wow, that's not one that I would be like, woo, yeah. Let's see. What else do I have in green? Oh, I just wrote, if you think that me getting another sex injury is me doing something wrong, maybe you're not doing something right. Here is my analogy that when we have a sex injury, so it's a basketball, it's a sports analogy. So sometimes I like to dunk, sometimes I like to shatter the backboard. Hey-o. In Bobby's case, that's probably more about. Like I say, I'm sure that that's not. Those dismounts, the thumb and the wrist dismount, those probably weren't. I mean, the reaction that I had in my dismount would have not been. It would have been very similar to if her vagina would have gotten teeth and bitten my penis. The same dismount would have been required. So I'm just saying that the dismount probably was like, whoa, why? It was not, there wasn't heads up. It wasn't like there was no warning system. There was no early alert system. There was no tsunami warning where everyone needs to run for the hill. There was none of that. It just happened. Sometimes you dunk. Sometimes you shatter the backboard. No, it's supposed to be that one. Oh, stupid crickets. But I want to put that on a shirt too. I'm going to put sometimes I dunk, sometimes I shatter the backboard. And then it's going to have a picture of Bobby's face. Let's see. One other green note. Oh, yeah. So here's the thing. So now that I've already got into this earlier, I have a note about that. Because I was feeling, I was wanting to go out and like hit balls again and trying to think about maybe trying to play some golf. Not just get out there and play with Bobby and Morgan and Trinity if they're can, and just get out there and play and just have fun and not worry about score. Just hit the ball. My hands keep failing me, so I figure this is God just be like, nope. So that's the two things. So it seems like God has banned me from the missionary position. And then it seems like God does want me to play golf, which is okay. I have not played now in 5 years, nearly 5 years, and I was playing 200 rounds a year. So was it a big adjustment? It was at one point. Is it now? No, I see people out there playing, and granted, it's summertime now when I'm recording this, but I would see people playing out there when it was 45 and just the wind was whipping and it was, But that used to be me. I used to be out there. And so I'm glad that's not me. And I used to be out there no matter what it was. So I was a fast golfer, so I don't think I took the averages. But if you just took the average, I picked up to 800 hours a year. Yeah. That's like a part-time job I got rid of, so I had time to do other things. So if I'm not going to play golf, that's fine. I'm not sure still why I hold on to my golf clubs, because now I think they're kind of collector editions. I know that's probably 100% incorrect, but Nike got out of the golf game. I was with them at the time, so I still have one of their last sets of Vapors. And because I haven't used them much, because I shut down, they're in near mint condition. And that's why I won't get rid of them too. And I'm not playing golf. And I'm like, I could sell these and make I was going to say a pretty penny. It would probably be just a penny. I mean, I'm not sure I would even inspect like if two people offered me pennies, it would be the first penny, not the prettiest penny. No, it would be the first penny I got. Because if I'm asking 1 cent for something, then as soon as I get 1 cent, that person or entity, I mean, I don't know. I mean, if a ghost came up and gave me a penny, and somehow I had that knowledge it was a ghost, yes, I would still, if it was, I don't give a shit, actually. Maybe younger, I would have given a shit. If a ghost is going to come up and give me a penny for something I ask 1 penny for, then I will sell it. No questions asked. At this age, don't care. A penny is a penny. Is that that's what $20 is $20, then a penny is a penny. Another shirt. I'm going to have to open a store. Okay, let's circle back around now that I've done that. Ooh. That was actually a segue. Very nice segue. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay, I got to stop that or I'm going to forget what the segue was. So I now have thestonegenius.com. I don't have my website up yet. I am building it myself. I'm trying to make it look really good so you don't go and look at it. And you know what? Honestly, why should I give a shit? You guys, if you've been listening to the show, there are only certain expectations you would have. I mean, I call myself a podcast host, but you've listened to the show, and that is me being generous with a self-designated title. That is what that is mean. So, anywho, anyhow, anyway, for me to say that I'm going to do something else, edit, blah, 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 blah. No, not going to happen. Okay. Let's see. What color we would go? Oh, so the website is thestonegenius.com. You can reach me, and this email already reaches me at R-O, and people have pronounced it row at thestonegenius.com. Send me an email, suggest a topic, suggest a guest, offer to be a guest, offer to be a topic. I don't know. I don't know what you have going on. You may have something that I go, that may be interesting. I mean, so we got the website, the email, and then for Father's Day, Trinity got me a dot card. I believe I may have mentioned it already, but that's pretty cool. So now, because I was lamenting getting business cards, and I really didn't want to get paper business cards when I'm just out and about, and I'm not going to meet someone somewhere, strike up a conversation, and give them, it would have to be very interesting. Like, it literally would have to be like, you can roll it up and smoke it. That is actually not a bad idea. But then how about if they didn't memorize the information? You know what? No. I'm not just going to give something they can smoke away if it's not going to be ingrained in their head. So I don't know. Anywho, anyhow, anyway, the dot card is pretty cool. I was able to put website, Instagram, all sorts of things on there. I think my OnlyFans account, which doesn't have anything yet on there. And so now I can talk to someone about me, about this show, and they have all the information. It's right there, digitally transferred, I guess. I don't know if digitally is correct or not. Let's see. So was that the only orange stuff I got? Oh, so we got to go back. Hold on. So we're going back to the sex injury. So we talked about the first sex injury. Wrist injury, it was the FCR. I should know what that means. I really, really should. I'm actually going to look it up while you guys are right here. I could pause this, but why? FCR tendon is the flexor carpi radialis. Flexor carpi radialis. Latin, am I right? Anywho, anyhow, anyway, that has seemed to have been torn, maybe ruptured. I don't know the terminology they were using. This is going to transition me into doctors. Not that didn't sound right. I mean, everyone knows my other T-shirt that I'm going to make. The other saying that I came up with, which is 50% of all doctors graduate in the bottom half of their class. It's mathematics. That's how that works. Anyhow, anyway, I went to urgent care. So the injury happened, I believe, Friday night into Saturday morning. And so on Monday morning, I went to urgent care first thing. They have an orthopedic urgent care, x-rays. Side note, so I need to come back to doctors, x-rays. I got to write notes down. So and I think it was a physician's assistant that was actually seeing me, not an orthopedist or another doctor. So they came in and they go, well, there's no broken bones, but man, you have a lot of arthritis in your hand. Hold on. Which I'm well aware of. I understand that I do have arthritis in my hand, and I understand that it is quite extensive. I understand that to be the case throughout my entire body as well. But it's kind of weird when a doctor comes and tells you that. And I had that. I was T-boned. Someone ran a light and T-boned me once, wrapped me around a pole, and the car around a pole, not me literally around a pole. Wrapped me around a pole. I got taken in because I'd hit my head, and they came in and they go, everything looks. Actually, he goes, have you had problems with your neck up till now? Because I was thinking, he's like, oh, there's something structurally wrong, and he's hoping that it was before this accident or check-in. And I was like, no. He goes, well, man, you have a lot of arthritis. He goes, I don't look forward to your future or something like that. I was like, okay. I mean, I don't know. At 55, I was just checking. I can look over both shoulders, so hold on. Okay, that's enough. Which is this? Oh, yeah. I forgot already. And I can't see that button this far away. And never mind. Anyway, so the doctor comes back in, does the x-rays. They say, we think that you tore this. So going to have you be in a splint. We're going to see you again in 2 weeks. And we need to get you in for an ultrasound to have that checked to see what the action plan would be. So they go to check their schedule and they go, well, we can't get you in for 8 weeks for the ultrasound because they wanted it to be done there. And we got something for that. I was like, really? So an ultrasound, and I would imagine on a wrist, I mean, you're not looking for a heartbeat or anything. I don't think so. I don't know. You're not looking for a baby. I'm pretty sure they're not looking for a baby in the wrist of a male. Don't know for sure, but I'm going to guess that's not what they're looking. I just can't imagine it would take long. I actually had one on my thumb done by him. And I do not believe that the whole process took more than a couple, maybe 10 minutes tops. So I don't understand why it was booked out for 8 weeks. Maybe they had something, and that's fine. So then after a couple days, I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Why am I going back in 2 weeks if we don't have the ultrasound, blah, blah, yada, yada. So I called a KU Med, which is here in Kansas City, and I wanted to see if I didn't know it was KU Med who I was calling at the time. I was referred to a group, which was at KU Med, I believe, or part of their group, and talked to them, and they go, oh, yeah, as long as we get a written order from your doctor, we can set you up for an ultrasound. We can get you in within like 24 hours. So then I would have the results when I went back to see my doctor in 2 weeks for being in the splint. 4 days have passed, and nothing has been done by my doctor's office. They're still waiting for the doctor to okay that it be sent over there, which I don't understand because they've already okayed the ultrasound. So I don't understand why it needs to be okayed. Don't they just want it done? And if I'm going to say that 50% of all doctors graduate in the bottom half of their class, I guess that would be the same for ultrasound technicians. I don't know what they're called. Radiology. I don't know what they're called, so I'm not even going to guess. So the doctors that do that, I know there was a doctor that was going to do this, administer the ultrasound. Anyway, I don't understand why the doctor, if the order's already been written, why it can't be sent somewhere else so that I can come back and have something done made. Now, I will say this. It is a removable splint, so when I shower, when we have sex again, I am taking it off. I know that doesn't make any sense. You would think I would want to protect it more, but hear me out. First of all, I hadn't talked out this whole missionary thing yet, so we were still in missionary. Now, the reason... So here's the deal. So the reason I like missionary, in our bed frame, I can get my feet wedged in there. And remember when I was talking about sometimes you dunk, sometimes you shatter the backboard? Let's say the proper leverage can help one achieve one's goals in shattering a backboard. Anyway. So, but this time I had the brace off, but I had my arm, instead of being pressed up like in a press up position, like in a push up position, I had that arm underneath her. So she was laying up. So she was keeping it fairly steady. Let's say as steady as she could. Underneath. So it was pinned. It wasn't being bent. So from what I understand with this Flexar Rady Hootie Capey, whatever the thing was in my wrist that we're looking at, and I mentioned it earlier, I've already forgotten. The thing, and I've looked it up. Here's the thing. I've looked it up like 6 times, can't remember. Flexar Carpi Radialis. See, I do remember it. I just have to know that I remembered it. Because never mind. Anywho, anyhow, anyway, it's more of like a flexion, like especially bending the wrist backwards. That's the position it was when it failed, when it imploded. Too soon? Guess so. Anywho, anyhow, anyway, that's a reference to a submarine. That's probably when I should have done the crickets when I said that part. Anywho, anyhow, anyway, so where my arm was placed beneath her, I was not concerned with it being bent, especially in the direction that would be most concerning. So here's the deal. If it would have been bent from the position we were in, if it would have been bent in that concerning direction, I would have been more concerned with what led us to that point than the fact that we were at that point. The fact that we're at that point, I could see something happening, just not in the position we were in. I just don't know what. So that would have been the concerning part. What would have? See, that may have been missionary to wheelbarrow. Should have been quicker with that button. Anywho, anyhow, anyway. So I get injured last weekend. Then Bobby is no. Like Bobby has some PTSD going on because of these sex injuries. Because it had gone like 25 years without a sex injury, I believe. I mean, the occasional like claw marks and stuff, but for the most part, I was devoid of sex injuries for the first 25 years. Then I had the thumb injury. And then I had the wrist injury less than 2 weeks ago, or right at 2 weeks ago now. No, it was last week. So it's only been 1 week. And we've already had more injury. Yeah, that's right. Oh, geez. Yeah. So anywho, anyhow, anyway, so I have an injury, 25 years, no injury, then an injury, and then I have another injury. So now there's been 2 in 27 years. None in the first 25, 26 years, now 2 in the first 27 years, now 2 in a week. So Bobby is like, she was not wanting to, she was wanting me to be able to heal. We didn't have a sex swing. So she was unsure of how we were going to have sex that wouldn't lead to me having an injury. Now, here's the thing. We did it. We did it. Yeah. Thursday night. Hold on. What day? Yeah. So Thursday night. Perfect. Friday night. Perfect. I mean, like perfect. Like I would once again making sounds that I'm not sure have been heard on this planet, which I'm fine with. I mean, sometimes, and I think Bobby did laugh at one of these times. Whatever sound came out of me, and it was out of my mouth. It wasn't like out of other parts of my body where like I wouldn't have heard that sound. Not like that. Like usually it's me making a sound while my mouth is also on her skin. So then it's at the same time. So there's usually a couple, it's almost like a beatbox if it was a 55-year-old white guy doing it right after he did probably too much cardio. Seems like an appropriate button there. So then I get injured. So the injury happened Friday into Saturday. So then we don't have sex for a few days. And I'm telling you, I am raring to go Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, once again. And I am being generous when I talk about night also. It may have not been that late. So anywho, anyhow, anyway, the proceedings went on. Once again, it is I am sure. I'm just trying to think if I mean, maybe Bobby would like to be on top and wedge her feet in the footboard as well. I mean, I don't know. I'm just trying to think that because I really like, let's just say, I think we both enjoy when I'm able to wedge my feet in our footboard. That being said, once again, I probably should defer, at least for the next little while, until we're 100% sure that this is not only healed, but it's overhealed. I don't know if that's a thing, but let's say they say, oh, it'll be healed in 2 weeks. Then we wait like 4. And not for sex. I'm talking about me getting up there and just going at it. I mean, once again, I think this is why sex toys were invented. It was just like, sometimes people are like, why would someone have that? And it's like, well, do you want my big arthritic fingers doing that instead? Hey-o. Let's see. So I was talking about doctors. So let's get back to the sex injury, then I'll get to doctors. Because the second sex injury is not going to require a doctor. Talked about me having thin skin, not one being talked about literally having thin skin that likes to split. And not like me when I want to split, like when I go somewhere and I'm like, let's split, let's get out of here, I'm over this. No, my skin just likes to split, and then I like to bleed a lot. I'm a bleeder. That's what I am. Usually hands, lower legs. So I think it was because I was out in the sun so much. And I will tell you, I never wore sunscreen. And that being said, it usually from the elbows down, like from just above the knees down, or right around the knees down. And I think it's just because I spent so much time in shorts and short sleeves on golf courses that anyway, so I am dismounting off Bobby. So we finish, I am dismounting. The footboard that I love so much, I've talked about it on more than one occasion during just this episode alone. That same footboard, it's covered with a faux leather. Now, I'm saying faux leather. I don't 100% know that for a fact, except for the price tag. For what we paid for our bed frame, I'm going to say that it's because it's completely covered or what. I'm going to say it is 100% real, not maybe leather. So my skin, if it comes to a sudden stop, so let's use this case, the actual instance. So if I had video, let's pretend this is a 1930s fireside chat. You're gathered around I said phone. You're gathered around the radio listening to a radio show. Oh, I got something for this. So this is what happens. No, I can't do that. Ugh, I can't. That's too much of an echo. No, thank you. So I've dismounted. We've had our pleasantries. We exchange high fives. We have a special handshake that we do post-coital. So I am now getting off the bed. I am actually going to rinse off and then proceed with the rest of the evening because it was early evening, probably, maybe. Doesn't matter the time. I was going to go shower. For some reason, I kind of slid off the bed. Not like literally slid. Like there were so many oils or lubricants or substances, bodily or otherwise. That's not why I slid off the bed. I was just I think I was trying to be sexy while I was leaving. I don't know what I was doing. Anyway, I slid off the end of the bed, and my lower leg, my shin on my right leg, decided when it made contact with this real, maybe not leather that's on our bed frame is encased in. My skin decided when it hit that leather, it would stop moving. It said, nope, We're good right here. Our skin, your lower leg skin is going no further. However, my leg had and went on to do the following. It kept going. So the skin stopped. The skin stopped. The leg kept going. And so it tore my skin. So it's probably, I was about to say 3 inches, but if that's 3 inches, then my penis may be 15 inches long. Anyway, actually it's probably 2 inches. So, good thing is that on some of those tears, I know that I'm getting graphic here. Sorry, do I need to put a warning on this? I don't want someone to be driving and be like, oh, no, no. So anyway, I say it flaps. That's what the skin decides to do. It makes a little flap. So sometimes I am successful in reattaching almost perfectly and then getting it to heal properly, like sometimes. And then sometimes it's a big gaping divot, and that's the best it's ever going to be. Again. Anyway. So I'm sliding off the bed, skin stops, leg goes, and I'm like, ow. And so I grab my leg, and here's the thing. I don't have to look. If I grab a part of my body that I believe has been injured, most likely torn skin injured, an injury involving torn skin, if you will, if I feel warm, wet stuff, even if I've been outside sweating, I could be next to the pool, I'm outside, I'm sweating, I feel that. There is a difference, probably in the viscosity between sweat and blood, but I can tell the difference. And I was like, that's not good. And it was more of a, I think as I said it, I was able to project a feeling as well as, no, dang it, that's not good. I didn't know that was that long. I was trying to say it during, never mind. I'll come back and post it. I'll clean that up a little. I just punched the microphone too. And luckily, it did not tear my skin. So hold on. Okay, don't need that to get creepy. So that was my second injury. So Bobby had told me, we're going to go somewhere else. Well, it doesn't matter. So we watched the final Magic Mike. Magic Mike, the last dance, the last cut, the final dance, the something. It has a title. Magic Mike, blah, blah, blah. And at the beginning, he dances for Salma Hayek. And I say to Bobby, would you like me to dance for you like that? And she said yes. Now, well, at 55, being in good condition, I do believe there are some, not many, definitely not all, there are some of those moves I could probably do. The moves where he's like on the floor, I could probably do those. Not the ones where he jumps up real quick. And then like the ones where he picks her up, that's not happening. I mean, I can't tell you how small the person would have to be for me to be able to pick them up. That they would have to be really tiny. So that's not happening. So there were a few things that wouldn't happen, but I was like, I could probably do some. Like 3. There were probably 3 or 4. We only watched this once, so you'll have to forgive me. 3 or 4 moves during this dance that I could do. So she, Salma Hayek, offers Magic Mike, $60,000 for a dance. And it's just a fucking carrot. She's just dangling that money out in front of him. I'm not going to do a spoiler for the No spoiler alert, because I'm not going to spoil it. But she offers $60,000 for the dance, and Bobby says to me, "If anyone offers you $60,000 for a dance, take it." And I was like, "Okay, that's fine." And then we laughed when he was like picking her up and doing things. Because at first it was like, "Well, you're not having sex with a person; you're just dancing." And then he picks her up, and her muffins in his face. I believe it's called the muffin in the face move. And, we laughed because that would be amazing. But I work out every day. And I can tell you, I've worked out almost every day, barring outside of injury. Injury, right? So not working out right now. I've been working out every day for like 3 years, barring injury. And I would be 10 years away. See, and I can't, because the saying one step forward, two step back comes from this. Because like if I tried to work out more so I could do some of the moves in there, the more I worked out, the older I'm getting, the less it would be effective. And let's just say my muff to face dance moves with Bobby, those days are over. I will be quite honest. I'm not sure they ever existed, honestly. I mean, I wish that I could, but Bobby's 6'1". Just logistically, even if her muff is in my face, her legs are still hanging down past my waist. Once again, I think Salma Hayek is like 4'7". I don't know that to be true. In fact, I'm 100% sure that's not true. So she's not 4'7". But there are some of you that were like, "Oh yeah, I knew she was small." And you didn't discount that number. So let's just go with she's very tiny. Once again, even her tininess, I could not do that. It would take someone who's 40 and has not broken yet, has not had the world break them, physically break them, many times over break them. Hands, wrists, knees, hips, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, those times never even existed for us. So there are very few dance moves that we could do, but this would be my problem too. Is that even like a 3 or 4 minute dance, I would probably injure myself. Now, $60,000 for one dance. I'm not going to have health care with that type of position, I don't think. At best, if they're paying me, I'm 1099 if I'm some sort of employee, which I don't think that I am. Because it's just, especially if it's a one and done, if I'm just doing it once, then it's probably a one-time. Service is rendered. Doesn't matter. Anyway, my fear is that if I'm doing that, then I'm not going to have health care, or I'm going to be on the Affordable Health Care Act, which that would be fine. But I get injured like so easily, which is funny because I talk about people whose feelings are injured so easily. Oh my gosh. I hate when I talk stuff out and then so I talk about like people so I grew up as these sticks and stones may break your bones, names will never hurt you type thing. That's how I grew up. And actually that's kind of my personality too. So that there's just not something that someone can say that's going to hurt me. That being said, I make fun of people that get easily offended by just literally the most basic, I don't get offended, but I feel like if I was going to be offended by someone, I would be offended at how easily offended someone else got. Like, I would just be like, I can't even tell you. I was going to say I'd feel like this, but I don't know how to tell you what it feels like to be offended. I don't know. I think that's a great thing that I don't feel that. Anywho, anyhow, anyway, if I was going to do a one-time dance, even it's 3 to 4 minutes, the chances of me injuring myself are very high. I mean, he was like wearing knee pads and things, I think, but even with protection, wearing and yes, that type of protection, knee pads and shin guards, I feel like the likelihood of me sustaining an injury that would require more than 2 weeks of recuperation would be extremely high. Like if Vegas was taking bets on that. Like, oh, we hear Rose is going to dance for some chick. We're going to give you odds on whether he gets injured. I would place a bet that I definitely would get injured. In fact, they would have to stop taking bets. No one's going to bet on me not getting injured. Bobby wouldn't even take that bet. I mean, Bobby is so terrified to have sex with me right now because I might get injured. Now, I will tell you this also. I lied to the doctor. Because of the position that I was in, it was the same as a push-up position, plank, whatever. So I said that I injured myself working out because I will tell you this. Doctors, like if I tell them the truth and say I was injured having sex, they will take it less seriously or feel like it doesn't deserve the attention because that's just how people are. So that transitions me into doctors. I mean, we're talking about doctors anyway, but I was reading an article about there's I think a baseball team. I don't know if it's minor league, little league. I don't know what it is. And I only know of Macon, Georgia. So I think it's Macon, Georgia, but they were the Macon Bacon was the name of their team. And I guess their numbers look like bacon. I don't know. A group of doctors have come out and asked them to change their name because they said that they were glorifying bacon. I just wanted to have that chirping there. I thought that it really deserved a moment of silence. However, in retrospect, I also thought you may have thought I just gave up at that point. I thought you thought. Anyway, so I just needed you to know that I was still here. But yeah, so remember those doctors I have mentioned oft before, the 50% that graduated in the bottom half of their class? I'm going to go ahead and say that a majority, if not all, of the members of whatever doctors group this is, Doctors Against Bacon, I would say that all or most of them may have graduated in the bottom half of their class. I don't have any documentation. I don't have any supporting evidence more than the fact that they are asking a baseball team named the Macon Bacon to change their name to something that doesn't glorify bacon. I really wish they would change it to something else that would rile up another doctor group. I don't know what that would be. Actually, I don't know if there's still this team. There used to be a Macon Whoopee, I think was a minor league team. So could you imagine a group of doctors coming out, pediatrics? I think that's kid doctors. Podiatrists is feet, pediatrics is children, I think. Anywho, whatever children doctors are, they would be upset about that. Macon Whoopee, you need to change your name. You're getting all these kids being made, which I will agree. I actually would back that doctor group. If it's not a group and that team still exists, I'm going to start that now because we do not need stupid kids populating, especially the United States, because that's where I live. I mean, I would say the world in general, but let's say the United States for this point, because that's where I live. And I have traveled through Georgia dozens upon dozens of times, traveling through the state, visiting the state. There are some very parts of the state, and we don't need dumb kids born in America. We definitely don't need dumb Georgians, because actually, I take that back. How would we know? Okay, so let's see. I got a pink that goes over there. That goes there. I think that it ties that up. We circle that. Yeah. Bobby and I celebrated 10,000 days this week. On June 21st, 2023, Bobby and I had met 10,000 days to the earlier, to the date, because, yeah, that's how that works. That's how days work out, row. But we had met 10,000 days previous on February 3rd. So I don't know when I looked that up. Actually, I do. So Bobby, for like so I'm trying to think of where we were living. So probably for our 15th anniversary, Bobby had made a sign for us that talked about us being married for 15 years. And it had the number of minutes, seconds, days, minutes, seconds, all of that information on there. And I think at that time, then I was like, oh, well, it's been 7,000 days. Like 10,000 days is I mean, that's 5 digits, that's the next big one. So when is 10,000 days? So I think I looked it up probably 10 years ago, 12 years ago, and then put it in my calendar. Because I don't know why I would just go, I wonder when Bobby and I have been married or met 10,000 days ago. So that means in 367 days from that day, it will be 10,000 days since we got married. Wow. So it's just about 10,000 days is just past 27 years. 27 years, 5 months, something like that. That's a lot of time. I mean, that's well over half of Bobby's life. I mean, it's barely anything in my life. Actually, we're getting to almost half of my life. Yeah, next year. So we'll have been together for 28 years next year. I will be 56 for that year, so that will be half my life. Bobby's half of her life was a long time ago. I mean, she's like now it's like 63% of her life has been spent with me. And yes, that is 100% the appropriate sound to use there. Let's see. The last thing that I have written down, and the reason I have this written down is because of the sex injury. I was just like, because we're just doing, it was missionary. Yeah, my feet were wedged. It was active missionary, very active on both parts. We were both very much engaged in the activity that we were involved. Anyway, when I started thinking about that sex injury and it was just missionary, I was like, man, if I get injured and die, I want there to be this whole thing. It's not just I died or got injured bad, but then I want Bobby to have to take me immediately to the hospital. I mean, I hope not. I mean, I hope I don't have an injury that bad that requires, this injury, my wrist injury and my thumb injury before that, they both happened on the weekend and were able to wait until Monday. So I don't want something that requires such urgent care that I am rushed to the hospital. So let me back up. Beep, beep, beep. I'm backing up. I know that was a fast beep for back up. Beep, beep. Beep. So anyway, I wrote down a new fantasy. So it's an addition to my existing fantasies. So one of my fantasies is having Bobby dress up like Little Debbie. Yes, the girl from the snack cake. I know. I hear it. She's not whatever age she is in there. She's an adult. Little Debbie's been around since I was a kid before I even started having sexual desires, okay? So I know I want Bobby to dress up like Little Debbie. Well-known fact. What I want to add is I would like her to taste and smell like vanilla zingers. And if you're expecting a sound over that, the only sound that should be after that is, and yes, please, and thank you. And this should get creepy. Yeah, I mean, because, man, I can't tell you, like, it is hard to find vanilla zingers. And if you're not familiar with vanilla zingers, so here's two things. I've talked about two things that, like, if I was listing, if someone told me you need to list the best three things that you've had in your mouth, it'd be Bobby, bacon, vanilla zingers. And number one's always going to be number one. Number two and three, depending on the day and how I'm feeling. Sometimes, like yesterday, it was a great day. I had both bacon and vanilla zingers. You know, the only thing that was missing for the trifecta, Bobby dressed as Little Debbie. Okay, thanks for listening to the show. My name's Ro. I'm not going to wrap it up that quick. Let's see. Oh, I did have one other thing. So I was talking about vanilla. And I very much like the smell of vanilla. Lotions are fine with that. Sprays, candles. I mean, I like the smell of vanilla. I like the taste. Vanilla zingers, literally, they're a top three. Like, see, here's the weird thing. Like, I mentioned Little Debbie, but her snack cakes, not top three. None of them. She has very good snack cakes. The whole lineup. Not the whole lineup. A majority of the lineup, very, very good. Strong lineup. Very commendable lineup. However, nothing's going to replace bacon or Bobby or vanilla zingers. I would be hard-pressed to see something. That being said, I despise vanilla ice cream, and I don't know why. This is literally it. I am going to try vanilla ice cream next time I get the chance. I'm going to try to eat vanilla ice cream without any... I haven't had vanilla ice cream without something on it, to my knowledge. To my recallable memory, my retrievable memory, I have never had vanilla ice cream that didn't have a topping on it. Like, I was the type of kid, like, if you were at a party or something, we got vanilla, and it's like, oh, do you have any toppings? And they said no. I'd be like, I'm good. That's just how I was. So here is my hypothesis, because I don't even give it a chance. I don't even say, oh, I'll just try a little vanilla. Literally, it has to have been touched by something else. Caramel, chocolate, caramel chocolate, fudge, caramel fudge. I mean... There's any variety of things, not fruits. Definitely, like, not that shit. I'm talking about something like sweet and gooey and thick. And no, I'm not talking about that either. That would be the way that Bobby eats her ice cream. Anyway, I am going to try now. I'm saying this out loud and I get this, so I got to make some apologies too. Here's what I was going to say. I will try my best to eat vanilla ice cream with no other toppings on it. That being said, I did make a commitment to Cam McCurry to watch a Star Wars. I was going to start with Rogue One. I still have not done that yet. Tim Lytell. Tim, thank you for being such a wonderful friend of the show. That being said, I still haven't made it back to a theater. I had promised him that I would go to a theater, but I do have an idea. That reminds me I got to reach out to Tim. Hold on. Anyway, I think that's it. Got the website, missionary to wheel build, talked about that, smashing the backboard. vanilla ice cream. So I think I have covered it all. And I did it appropriately in just over an hour. And I think that's both for me doing that in an hour and me limiting it to an hour for you all. So that cheering is for you. You will be able to go on and do whatever the rest of the things that you do and go on to do. So enjoy that. I can't play it out. So I got to go to my music, my actual one. Yeah, like this. And that sounds so much louder. I don't know if it is or not. Hey, my name's Ro. Thanks for listening to the show. This is the Stone Genius Podcast. Thanks for listening. I'll talk to y'all later. Oh, we got some good people coming up. So I was so focused on other stuff, I didn't even talk about the guests that we have coming up. I guess you'll just have to listen in the next episode. Talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.
Hey, motherfuckers. I didn't get a chance to say hey. So if you waited all the way to the end, then you get to hear from the Rabid Wolverine. Hey, my name's Wally. I'm a Wolverine. I have rabies, and I'm a Gemini. I don't know what part of the year that would be actually a Gemini, but it just sounded cool. For a Wolverine... They say Wolverines are mean, but do I sound mean or do I just sound bad? If you're still listening to the show, you need to stop because it's over.